All right, get ready to dive deep, everyone, because today we're exploring some really fascinating Hindu theological concepts.
Oh, yeah.
You know those texts you sent over?
I do.
All about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his teachings?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm really excited to dig into them with you today.
Me too.
He's considered like a pivotal figure in the Bhakti movement within Hinduism, and the texts, excerpts from scholarly works like Chaitanya Charitamrita and its commentaries they're packed with these stories of divine birth and miracles.
Oh, I know. And philosophical debates.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And the sheer power of devotion in this tradition.
It's captivating stuff.
It is.
And what I find particularly interesting is that emphasis on bhakti.
Yes.
You know, the idea of pure devotional service to God.
Right.
It's like a path to liberation.
Uh-huh.
It's just a recurring theme throughout these texts.
Yeah.
And we'll be exploring how that plays out in various aspects of Sri Chaitanya's life and teachings.
Yes. And I'm especially curious to see how this ancient wisdom connects to our lives today. Oh, absolutely.
Like, could these centuries-old teachings actually hold some key to finding peace and happiness in the midst of our modern chaos, you know?
Right.
I mean, let's see if we can unravel that thread together.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, first up, let's delve into this idea of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a divine incarnation.
Okay.
The texts describe him as an avatar of Krishna,
Yes.
specifically descending to earth for the Kali Yuga.
Uh-huh.
Could you shed some light on why that's so significant?
Well, the Kali Yuga is believed to be,
Right.
the current age we're living in, characterized by, well, you guessed it, materialism.
Materialism.
Yeah, think of it like distractions, instant gratification.
Yeah, all the good stuff.
The works.
Yeah.
It's seen as a time when people are increasingly disconnected from their spiritual core.
Uh-huh.
So Sri Chaitanya's appearance in this age is considered like a direct response to those challenges.
Oh, wow.
Offering like a way out, a path to liberation,
Mm-hmm.
even amidst all those, temptations and turmoil. Yeah, that's amazing how these ancient texts seem to speak directly to the specific struggles of different eras.
Yeah.
It's like they anticipated our modern predicament.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
That's wild how that
Yeah.
works out.
So tell me, what was Sri Chaitanya's specific mission in this age of materialism?
Okay.
What was he here to do?
So he came to spread the practice of Sankirtana,
Okay.
which is essentially the congregational chanting of God's names.
Oh, interesting.
Now, you might be thinking, chanting, how is that going to solve anything?
Yeah, I can see someone thinking that.
Right. But in the Kali Yuga,
Uh-huh.
this practice is considered incredibly potent.
Really?
The texts claim that it can, purify the heart,
Uh-huh.
quiet the mental chatter,
Oh, wow.
and awaken a deep love for God within us.
That's beautiful.
It's almost like an antidote to the spiritual lethargy
Yeah.
of this age.
I can see how something so simple,
Right.
yet so focused, could be powerful, especially in a world that's constantly bombarding us with stimuli.
Brilliant.
It's like a way to tune out the noise
Yeah.
and tune into something deeper.
Absolutely.
There's this one line in one of the texts that really caught my eye.
Oh, yeah.
It says, "A dumb man can recite perfect poetry by Chaitanya's mercy."
Oh, wow.
What a powerful statement about
Oh.
transformative power
Yeah.
attributed to him.
It suggests that through his divine grace, even those who might appear limited or incapable
Uh-huh.
can access profound spiritual experiences.
That's incredible.
It's not about intellectual prowess or social standing,
Right.
but about the sincerity of the heart.
I love that. It completely flips the script on who's qualified for spiritual growth,
Wow.
I love that.
That's beautiful.
And it seems like a perfect segue into our next point. Bhakti, the path of devotion.
Okay.
The texts are practically overflowing with this concept.
It's everywhere.
What's the essence of bhakti? What does it actually mean to practice it?
So bhakti at its core is about pure, unadulterated devotional service to God.
Yeah.
It's not just about outward rituals
Right.
or empty gestures.
Okay.
It's like an inner transformation,
Yeah.
a complete shift in perspective
Ah.
based on love,
Huh?
surrender,
Okay.
and a deep personal connection with the divine.
So it's not just about feeling a certain way, but about actively cultivating that connection, right?
Exactly.
And there's this fascinating list
Okay.
in the Srimad Bhagavatam
Yeah.
outlining 9 forms of bhakti.
Yeah.
They're surprisingly practical
Uh-huh.
and almost feel like a roadmap for building that relationship with the divine.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, they include hearing and chanting God's glories,
Yeah.
remembering him constantly, serving him with love,
Uh-huh.
worshiping his forms, offering prayers,
Yeah.
following his teachings,
Yeah.
cultivating a genuine friendship with him, and
Yes.
ultimately surrendering everything to him.
It's
It
beautiful.
really lays out like a tangible path,
Yeah.
and a pretty beautiful one at that. And then these texts also highlight the specific power of chanting Krishna's name,
Cool.
claiming that doing so, especially without offenses,
Huh?
can lead to liberation from all karmic reactions.
Oh.
It's a pretty bold statement, isn't it?
It is. It points to the profound power attributed to the divine name itself.
Uh-huh.
It's not just a word,
Right.
but like a vessel
Okay.
carrying the very essence of God.
Wow.
By sincerely chanting it,
Yeah.
one can connect with that divine energy,
Uh-huh.
become purified,
Okay.
and ultimately break free from the cycle of karma.
That's powerful.
Think of it like a spiritual reset button.
Wow. It's not just about saying words, it's about tapping into like a deeper vibration, a cosmic frequency.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm ready to shift gears slightly and dive into how these texts describe the nature of the divine and the material world.
Yeah?
One concept that I always find myself bumping into is Maya.
Yeah.
I've heard it translated as illusion,
Right.
but that never felt quite right to me.
It's a little, it's a little misleading.
Yeah.
Can you help me understand Maya a little better?
You're right. Illusion can be a misleading translation.
Yeah.
It's a bit more nuanced than that.
Okay.
Maya is this fascinating, powerful energy
Uh-huh.
that veils the true nature of reality.
Okay.
It binds souls to the material world, creating this sense of separateness from God
Right.
and keeping us trapped in this cycle of birth and death.
Oh, wow.
It's like a cosmic magician
Okay.
constantly pulling the wool over our eyes,
Yeah.
making us believe that this temporary, ever-changing material world is all there is.
So it's not that the material world is inherently false or bad.
Right.
It's more that our perception of it is distorted by Maya.
Exactly.
We get caught up in the show,
Right.
forgetting there's a whole backstage reality going on.
Yeah, a whole other thing happening.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The material world is like a reflection or a shadow play
Uh-huh.
of the true reality,
Right.
spiritual world.
It's real in the sense that we experience it,
Right.
but it's not the ultimate reality.
I see.
And the texts go even deeper, explaining that Maya actually has two distinct aspects,
Okay.
pradhana
Uh-huh.
and Maya itself.
Two aspects of Maya. Can you break that down for me?
Okay, think of it like baking a cake.
Okay.
Pradhana is like the raw ingredients.
Okay.
You know, the flour, sugar, eggs.
No.
It's the material cause,
Right.
providing the basic building blocks of the material world.
Okay.
But those ingredients, they just sit there
Yeah.
until something acts upon them.
Right.
That's where the second aspect, Maya itself, comes in.
Okay.
Maya is like the baker,
Okay.
the efficient cause,
Okay.
shaping and molding those raw ingredients into a delicious, enticing cake.
Ah, now I'm getting it. So pradhana provides the potential,
Yes.
and Maya activates that potential, shaping it into the world we experience with our senses.
Exactly.
But something's still bugging me.
What's that?
The text mentions Lord Vishnu
Mm-hmm.
activating these material ingredients.
Right.
But earlier we said Sri Chaitanya is an avatar of Krishna,
Yeah.
the supreme Godhead. So who's doing what here?
Okay, so what's fascinating about Hindu theology is the concept of multiple expansions of the divine.
Okay.
Think of it like the sun.
Okay.
It's one source, but its rays extend in all directions, illuminating different spaces.
Okay.
Lord Vishnu, considered an expansion of Krishna, is responsible for maintaining and preserving this material universe.
Uh-huh.
So while Krishna is the source, Vishnu plays a specific role in this cosmic drama.
Okay, so it's not about different gods competing for power.
Right.
It's about different aspects of the same divine source working together in harmony.
Exactly.
And the text even throws in Sri Advaita as playing a role in the creation process.
Oh, yeah.
Who's that?
Sri Advaita is considered another close associate of Sri Chaitanya,
Uh-huh.
believed to be an incarnation of Mahavishnu, a powerful cosmic being. So you're right, it's this intricate dance of divine energies, all playing their parts in the grand scheme of creation.
Man, it's like peeling back layers of an onion, each layer revealing more complexity and nuance.
It really is.
No wonder people spend their whole lives studying these texts.
I know, it's fascinating, isn't it?
It is.
You could just keep going and going.
Yeah.
But speaking of fascinating figures, Sri Chaitanya wasn't just a mystic sitting in a cave.
No.
He was also known for engaging in lively philosophical debates.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
ancient rap battles, but with higher stakes.
Okay, now that's something I can get behind. Tell me about these philosophical showdowns.
Right.
Who was he debating?
Okay.
And what were the key points of contention?
Well, he engaged with a diverse range of thinkers and schools of thought,
Oh, wow.
including Buddhists, Muslims, and even those who held impersonal views of God, known as Mayavadis.
Okay.
The texts depict him as eloquent and quick-witted, often dismantling his opponent's arguments with his profound understanding of Scripture
Right.
and his unwavering conviction in the power of Bhakti.
I see.
But it wasn't about, winning or proving anyone wrong.
Gosh.
These encounters seem to have been more about revealing the path to true spiritual realization.
So it was less about intellectual one-upmanship and more about using debate as a tool for spiritual exploration.
Exactly.
There's this one encounter that piques my curiosity.
Right.
His debate with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya.
Oh, yeah.
Who was this Bhattacharya character, and what made their debate so significant?
So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a highly respected logician of his time,
Oh, wow.
revered for his sharp intellect.
Okay.
He firmly believed that liberation could be achieved solely through intellectual understanding.
So he was a head-over-heart kind of guy?
Yeah, very much so.
So a real intellectual heavyweight.
He was.
What went down when he encountered Sri Chaitanya's emphasis on devotion?
Well, Sri Chaitanya, through his logical arguments
Right.
and his powerful spiritual presence, demonstrated that true knowledge of God couldn't be attained solely through intellect.
Oh, wow.
He argued that surrender, devotion,
Right.
and experiencing the divine firsthand were essential.
So it wasn't just a clash of arguments, but a clash of paradigms.
Yes.
A head-on collision between two radically different ways of approaching the divine.
It's true.
I'm on the edge of my seat here. Did Sarvabhauma concede defeat?
He did.
Wow. How did he react to this challenge?
Well, the texts describe how Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was deeply moved by Sri Chaitanya's teachings. He eventually converted to his philosophy, recognizing the supremacy of bhakti over mere intellect.
That's incredible.
He even became a dedicated follower and a
Wow.
key figure in spreading Sri Chaitanya's message.
That's a testament to the power of genuine spiritual dialogue, the
Right.
ability to bridge seemingly insurmountable philosophical divides.
Beautiful.
It almost feels like Sarvabhauma had a profound inner victory through this encounter, going beyond just intellectual debate to embrace a completely new way of seeing the world.
It's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
It speaks to the transformative potential of genuine spiritual inquiry,
Yeah.
the willingness to let go of our preconceived notions
Right.
and allow ourselves to be challenged and changed by new perspectives.
All right, so we've got Sri Chaitanya, this divine avatar, advocating for bhakti as the path to liberation, challenging intellectual elites, and inspiring profound transformations.
Amazing.
But the texts also mention these intense, ecstatic states
Oh, yeah.
he experienced, especially later in his life.
They were something else.
And honestly, they sound like something out of a psychedelic rock concert.
They were extraordinary, defying conventional understanding.
Okay, give me the juicy details.
Yeah.
What kinds of states are we talking about, and how were they described in the texts?
Right.
Paint me a picture.
His close associate, Svarupa Damodara Goswami, meticulously documented these experiences.
Okay.
They included states of intense joy,
Right.
uncontrollable weeping, trembling, fainting,
Okay.
and even what were described as wild, insane performances.
Really?
Imagine being swept up in a whirlwind of spiritual energy,
Oh, wow.
completely losing yourself in the ecstatic embrace of the divine.
It sounds almost overwhelming. The text even says that these states were beyond the comprehension of contemporary psychologists and phenomenologists.
Yeah, wild, right?
That's mind-blowing.
It is.
It's like he was tapping into a level of experience that transcends the limitations of our normal human awareness.
Exactly.
So we're not just talking about good vibes here, we're talking about experiences that completely shatter the boundaries of ordinary human perception.
Absolutely.
And all of this, all these incredible teachings, experiences, debates, how did it all get passed down through the ages?
Right.
Someone had to be taking meticulous notes, right?
That's where Krishnadasa Kaviraj Goswami comes in.
Okay.
He's the author of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the most authoritative biography of Sri Chaitanya.
Okay.
He saw it as his sacred duty to accurately document Sri Chaitanya's life and philosophy,
Uh-huh.
ensuring these teachings wouldn't be lost to time.
So he's like the ultimate biographer,
Yes.
capturing not just the facts,
Yeah,
but the very essence of this extraordinary life.
exactly.
And it was a monumental undertaking.
He was.
I mean, Krishnadasa received incredibly detailed accounts from Raghunatha Dasa Goswami, who had actually memorized the events,
Yeah.
as told by Svarupa Damodara Goswami,
Right.
the one who witnessed those ecstatic states firsthand.
Yeah.
It's like a chain of transmission,
Ah,
carefully preserving the integrity of these teachings.
it really is.
And here's the kicker.
Okay.
Krishnadasa completed this epic work in his late 90s,
I know.
despite his health failing.
Talk about dedication.
It's a testament to the power of inspiration and the unwavering human spirit.
It really is.
He must have seen this work as absolutely essential,
Yeah,
something that needed to be shared with the world.
absolutely.
And the fact that the Chaitanya Charitamrita remains such an influential text today speaks volumes about his devotion and the enduring power of Sri Chaitanya's legacy.
I know.
I'm already feeling the impact of this deep dive,
I know.
and we've only just scratched the surface.
There's so much more to explore.
I know.
I can't wait to see what other gems we unearthed together.
Hang tight, listeners.
Yes, hang tight.
We'll be right back to continue unraveling the captivating world of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his teachings.
I'm excited to get into it.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We've been exploring his life, his teachings, and the impact he had on Hindu theology. It's incredible how these centuries-old texts we've been discussing feel so surprisingly relevant to our modern lives.
Yeah, it's true. That search for meaning, that longing for something greater than ourselves,
Yes.
it's a universal human experience that transcends time and culture.
Totally. And these texts offer a path, emphasizing the power of devotion and the importance of cultivating a loving relationship with the divine. But it's not all abstract concepts and lofty ideals, is it?
No, not at all.
We've also touched on some really human experiences,
Right.
from ecstatic states to philosophical debates to the simple act of sharing food. It all seems to be connected in this intricate tapestry of spirituality.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of human experiences, there's one aspect of Sri Chaitanya's life that I think warrants a sensitive and thoughtful discussion.
Okay.
His interactions with women. The texts describe instances where women were deeply attracted to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important to approach these descriptions with a nuanced understanding.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah?
It's a topic that can easily be misinterpreted or taken out of context.
For sure.
So how should we understand these accounts? What's the deeper meaning behind them?
Well, in the Bhakti tradition, attraction to God is often expressed in the language of human love.
Okay.
It's a way to convey the intensity of devotion, the soul's yearning for union with the divine. It's not meant to be taken literally, but symbolically.
So it's like using poetry or metaphor to express something that's beyond words, that deep longing for connection with the source of all love.
Yes, exactly.
It's about tapping into that universal yearning that resides within us all.
Exactly. And the texts use vivid imagery and symbolism to evoke that yearning, to inspire a similar kind of longing and devotion in the reader. It's about stirring the heart, not just informing the mind.
It makes you realize just how multi-layered these texts are. They operate on so many levels, inviting us to engage with them intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. It's a rich tapestry of wisdom waiting to be unraveled. Speaking of powerful experiences, earlier we touched upon the transcendental ecstatic states that Sri Chaitanya experienced.
Yeah, those were intense.
This is where things get really interesting. Can we dive a little deeper into what made these states so unique and significant? What set them apart from ordinary human experience?
Well, these states were said to be glimpses into the spiritual world,
Okay.
where pure love for God reigns supreme.
Right.
They were characterized by intense joy, a sense of merging with the divine, and a complete absorption of the bliss of that connection. It's like stepping through a portal into a realm where all limitations dissolve and only pure love remains.
It sounds almost too incredible to imagine. The texts mention Sri Chaitanya losing outward consciousness during these experiences, completely absorbed in ecstatic communion with the divine. What an incredible concept. It challenges everything we think we know about reality and the limits of human perception.
It does. And it reminds us that there are dimensions of experience that lie beyond the reach of the intellect or the senses realms that can only be accessed through the heart, through pure devotion and surrender.
It makes you wonder what's truly possible when we let go of our preconceived notions and open ourselves up to the boundless potential of the human spirit.
It really does.
The texts describe various physical and emotional manifestations of these ecstatic states.
Oh, yeah.
Crying, trembling, fainting, even those wild, insane performances we mentioned earlier.
Right.
To someone unfamiliar with these concepts, it might sound a bit like,
Yeah.
a medical condition.
It's crucial to remember that these are spiritual phenomena,
Okay.
not pathological states.
Right.
They're expressions of intense spiritual bliss,
Okay.
considered highly desirable in the Bhakti tradition.
Okay.
It's not about suppressing or controlling these experiences,
Right.
but about surrendering to them,
Okay.
allowing the divine energy to flow through you without resistance.
So it's like the body and mind are being overwhelmed by the sheer intensity of the spiritual experience. It's a complete surrender to a force that's beyond our comprehension or control. The texts even compare it to being struck by lightning.
Wow. Yeah.
This sudden surge of energy that completely disrupts the normal functioning of the senses and the mind.
What a powerful analogy. It speaks to the transformative power of these experiences.
It does.
And it's important to note that these ecstatic states weren't limited to Sri Chaitanya himself.
Oh, really?
His followers also experienced them, although to varying degrees.
So it wasn't just about individual enlightenment, but about creating a community, a space where these profound experiences could be shared and amplified.
Exactly.
I can see how that would be incredibly powerful and transformative. It's like they were tapping into a collective energy field, amplifying their individual experiences through shared devotion and love.
Yeah. It's beautiful, isn't it?
It is.
It makes me think about the power of group meditation or chanting, how those practices can create a palpable sense of connection and shared energy.
It's a beautiful thing to witness,
It is.
that merging of individual consciousness into a unified field of devotion.
And it reminds us that spirituality isn't just about personal growth,
Right.
but about creating connections, building communities, and sharing the transformative power of love with others.
Speaking of sharing, one thing that struck me as I was reading these texts was the emphasis on food.
Oh, yeah, the food.
It seems to play a significant role in this tradition. It's not just about sustenance, is it?
No, it's much deeper than that.
There's a deeper meaning behind it.
You're right. In Hinduism, offering food to God is a central act of devotion. It's a way to express love, gratitude, and surrender. It's about acknowledging that everything we have comes from the divine.
Right.
And offering it back as a token of our love.
Okay.
And then there's the act of sharing that consecrated food known as prasada,
Right.
which is considered a sacred act, a way to extend the blessings of the divine to others.
So it's not just about the physical act of eating.
Right.
It's about sharing a meal that's been infused with spiritual energy.
It's beautiful.
It transforms a simple act into something sacred,
Yes.
a way to connect with the divine and with each other on a deeper level.
Absolutely.
I remember reading a story about a devotee named Raghava who would bring bags of food for Sri Chaitanya.
Yeah, Raga.
What makes that story so significant? What can we learn from it?
So Raghava's story beautifully illustrates the importance of selfless service in bhakti. He wasn't seeking personal gain or recognition,
Okay.
but was simply driven by a pure desire to please Sri Chaitanya.
Right.
It's about offering what we have, however humble it may be,
Right.
with a heart full of love and devotion.
It reminds me of the saying, it's not about the size of the gift, but the size of the heart that gives it.
Exactly.
And the story goes on to describe how Sri Chaitanya would meticulously taste each item that Raghava brought,
Yeah.
savoring it with deep appreciation.
He was so grateful.
Yeah, it wasn't just a perfunctory gesture, but a genuine expression of gratitude and love.
It was beautiful.
And there's another story that stood out to me
Okay.
about Vallabhapata, a devotee who would bring large quantities of food that had been offered to Lord Jagata.
Yeah.
This story highlights the sanctity of remnants of food offered to God.
Right.
In the Bhakti tradition, such remnants are considered especially sacred,
Wow.
carrying the blessings of the deity.
That's powerful.
So it's like a tangible connection to the divine, a way to receive those blessings and share them with others. It elevates the simple act of eating to a spiritual practice.
Precisely. And the story emphasizes the importance of sharing this consecrated food with others,
Right.
extending that divine grace and spreading those blessings throughout the community.
It's fascinating how these seemingly mundane details about food reveal such profound spiritual principles.
Isn't it?
It reminds us that spirituality isn't separate from our daily lives. It can be woven into every aspect of our existence, even the simplest acts like preparing and sharing a meal.
It's about infusing our lives with awareness, intention, and love. It's about seeing the divine in everything and everyone.
And speaking of seeing the divine in everyone,
Yes.
these texts also touch upon social issues that were prevalent in India at the time,
Right.
particularly the caste system.
Which was a major point of contention.
Right.
How did Sri Chaitanya address this complex and often divisive issue?
Well, Sri Chaitanya was a radical reformer in many ways.
Oh, wow.
He challenged the rigid hierarchy of the caste system, arguing that true spirituality transcended such artificial distinctions.
Okay.
He emphasized that everyone, regardless of their birth or social standing,
Right.
had the potential to attain liberation through bhakti.
That was incredibly revolutionary for his time.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see how his teachings transcended social conventions and embraced the inherent worth and dignity of every human being.
Absolutely. He believed that the path to God was open to all who possessed sincere desire to connect with him.
Right.
And one of the most powerful stories illustrating this is his interaction with Haridasa Thakura.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about Haridasa.
Okay.
Who was he and what made his relationship with Sri Chaitanya so significant?
So Haridasa was born into a Muslim family,
Okay.
which placed him outside the traditional Hindu caste system.
Right. Yet he was known for his unwavering faith
Wow.
and his unwavering dedication to chanting God's names. He was a true embodiment of bhakti.
That's incredibly inspiring. It speaks to the universal appeal of bhakti,
Yeah.
the way it transcends religious and social boundaries.
Exactly. Sri Chaitanya embraced Haridasa as a dear friend and spiritual equal,
Oh.
demonstrating that in the realm of bhakti,
Right.
external labels held no significance. He saw the divine spark within Haridasa and recognized his profound spiritual depth. Their relationship was a testament to the transformative power of love and the unifying force of devotion.
It makes you wonder how different the world would be if we all embraced that kind of radical inclusivity, if we saw the divine spark in every individual, regardless of their background or belief.
It's a beautiful vision, one that Sri Chaitanya embodied and sought to spread through his teachings. He challenged the status quo and called for a more just and compassionate world,
Right.
a world where love and devotion reigned supreme. But this kind of radical shift in perspective,
Yeah.
this challenging of social norms,
Right.
must have caused some friction.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can imagine some resistance to this kind of radical change.
There were certainly challenges. As with any social reform movement, people often cling to tradition and resist change, even when it's for the better. But Sri Chaitanya remains steadfast in his convictions, advocating for a more inclusive and egalitarian approach to spirituality. He recognized the inherent worth of every human being and believed that the path to God was open to all who sought it with a sincere heart.
It's a message that continues to resonate today, a call for unity, compassion, and a recognition of our shared humanity.
Right.
And speaking of enduring legacies,
Yes.
so we've talked a lot about the Chaitanya Charitamrita,
Uh-huh.
the authoritative biography of Sri Chaitanya.
Right.
But what was the author,
Yeah.
Krishnadasa Kaviraja Goswami's motivation for undertaking such a monumental task?
Right.
What drove him to dedicate his life to preserving these teachings?
It's a great question. To embark on such a massive project in his late 90s speaks to a deep sense of purpose and dedication. Yeah.
Krishnadasa was a devoted follower of Sri Chaitanya,
Yeah.
and he felt a profound responsibility to ensure his teachings would be passed down to future generations.
Oh.
He saw it as his spiritual duty, his sacred offering to the world.
It's incredible how much care and dedication went into this project.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a biography, it was a labor of love,
Right.
an act of devotion in itself.
Exactly.
And the process of composition was remarkable, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't just about gathering facts and dates.
Huh?
It was about capturing the essence of Sri Chaitanya's life and teachings.
Absolutely. Krishnadasa would spend hours each day
Wow.
absorbed in meditation, visualizing Sri Chaitanya's pastimes, listening to firsthand accounts from those who knew him intimately,
Right.
and meticulously recording it all in his writings. He was like a conduit, channeling the spirit of Sri Chaitanya onto the page.
It sounds like he was trying to capture not just the events themselves, but the energy, the emotion, the very essence of Sri Chaitanya's presence.
Yeah.
He was painting a portrait with words, a portrait that continues to inspire and uplift readers centuries later. And remember, he was in his late 90s when he undertook this project.
I know.
Despite his advanced age and failing health, he persevered, driven by an unwavering commitment to sharing Sri Chaitanya's message with the world.
It's a testament to the power of inspiration,
Yeah.
the enduring strength of the human spirit,
Right.
and the profound impact that Sri Chaitanya had on those who knew him.
Uh-huh.
And the fact that the Chaitanya Charitamrita remains such an influential text today is a tribute to Krishnadas's dedication and the timeless relevance of Sri Chaitanya's teachings.
Speaking of timeless relevance, these texts grapple with some pretty deep philosophical concepts, ideas that have been debated for centuries.
Oh, yeah.
One that keeps coming up is the idea of the material world as an illusion, or Maya. How should we understand this concept in a practical sense? Does it mean our lives are meaningless, or that we should renounce everything and become hermits?
That's a great question, and it's one that's often misunderstood.
Yeah.
The concept of Maya isn't about denying the reality of our experiences, but about seeing them from a different perspective.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that while the material world is real in the sense that we experience it,
Right.
it's not the ultimate reality. It's like a dream.
Okay.
It feels real while we're in it,
Mm-hmm.
but upon waking, we realize it was just an illusion.
So it's not about rejecting the world,
Right.
but about understanding its true nature. It's about recognizing the difference between the temporary and the eternal, the fleeting and the everlasting.
The material world, with all its attractions and distractions, is constantly changing.
Right.
Our attachment to it, to our possessions, relationships, even our own bodies, is ultimately based on a misconception.
Wow.
We cling to things that are impermanent, setting ourselves up for disappointment and suffering.
So we're clinging to shadows instead of embracing the light. We're chasing after fleeting pleasures. Instead of seeking lasting fulfillment, it's a recipe for discontentment, isn't it?
It is. And the texts offer a path out of this cycle of attachment and suffering through bhakti.
Okay.
By cultivating love for God, by shifting our focus from the material to the spiritual,
Right.
we can gradually loosen the grip of Maya
Okay.
and experience a deeper, more lasting form of happiness.
It's like shifting our gaze from the flickering candle flame to the radiant sun.
It is.
But that sounds incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
How do we even begin to develop such deep devotion? Especially in a world that's constantly bombarding us with distractions and temptations.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
And it takes practice.
Right.
The texts recommend various techniques:
Yeah.
chanting God's names, studying scripture, associating with other devotees, engaging in selfless service. These practices help us purify our hearts, elevate our consciousness, and strengthen our connection to the divine.
So it's about aligning our thoughts, actions, and desires with the divine will.
Yeah, it's about surrender.
But what about those of us who might be skeptical or simply don't believe in God? Do these teachings have any relevance for us? Can we still benefit from them?
The beauty of these texts is that they offer multiple layers of understanding.
Okay.
Even if you don't subscribe to the theological framework, the underlying principles of selflessness,
Right.
compassion, and the pursuit of higher truths are universally applicable.
That's a good point.
The practices themselves,
Right.
regardless of your beliefs, can have a profound impact on your well-being, promoting peace, clarity, and a sense of connection to something greater than yourself.
So there's something for everyone in these teachings, regardless of their belief system.
Yeah.
It's about cultivating qualities that make us better human beings.
Exactly.
That help us live more meaningful and fulfilling lives.
It's about recognizing the divine spark within ourselves and in everyone around us.
Yeah.
And it's about living a life that reflects that understanding.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. But there's one more concept I want to explore before we wrap up.
Okay.
The idea of liberation.
Ah, yes.
What does liberation or mukti actually mean in the context of these texts? Is it about escaping from the cycle of birth and death? Or is there something more to it?
Liberation is often described as the ultimate goal of human existence.
Okay.
It's not simply about escaping from something negative,
Okay.
but about attaining a state of perfect freedom, bliss,
Right.
and union with the divine.
I see.
It's about realizing our true nature as souls, as eternal beings, free from the limitations of the material world.
So it's not about annihilation or escaping from reality, but about transcending the limitations of our current perception.
Yes.
And experiencing the fullness of our being in connection with the divine. It's a positive attainment, a state of complete wholeness and fulfillment.
Exactly. And the text emphasized that this state is achievable through the path of bhakti,
Okay.
through cultivating love and devotion to God.
Hmm.
It's about surrendering our ego, our sense of separateness, and merging with the infinite ocean of divine love. It's about recognizing that our true home is not in the fleeting world of matter,
Right.
but in the eternal embrace of the divine.
It's an incredibly inspiring concept.
It is.
And it gives us something to aspire to, a vision of what's truly possible when we align ourselves with the divine will and dedicate our lives to the pursuit of love and liberation.
And it's important to remember that liberation isn't something we attain after death.
Okay.
It's a state of consciousness that we can cultivate here and now
Right.
through our thoughts, actions, and interactions with the world around us.
This has been such an incredible deep dive.
It has.
We've explored philosophy, history, personal experiences, social issues, and even culinary practices.
It's amazing how much we've covered.
It is.
It's incredible.
It's amazing how these ancient teachings continue to offer so much relevance and insight for our modern lives.
It truly is. They offer a roadmap for navigating the complexities of human existence and a vision of a more fulfilling and meaningful way of life.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that the journey of spiritual exploration is ongoing
Yes.
and that there's always more to discover.
And on that note, we'll be right back to wrap up our deep dive into the captivating world of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Welcome back to our deep dive, you guys, into the world of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
It's been like an incredible journey,
Yeah.
through all this ancient wisdom and these timeless spiritual practices.
It really has.
What strikes me is just how much of what we've discussed feels surprisingly relevant, I think, to our modern lives.
Totally. Like, even though these texts were written, centuries ago,
Right.
they're grappling with questions that are still so alive for us today.
Oh, yeah.
The search for meaning, the longing for connection,
Right.
the desire to find peace amidst, all this chaos.
Absolutely.
And they offer, like, a path,
Yeah.
They emphasize the transformative power of devotion and this beautiful idea of cultivating a loving relationship with the divine. Absolutely. And I think they remind us that spirituality isn't just about abstract concepts or intellectual debates.
Right.
It's about lived experience.
Yeah.
It's about the way we engage with the world,
Right.
the way we treat others, the way we find joy in the simplest things.
Exactly. I mean, we've talked about everything from ecstatic states and philosophical showdowns to like the profound act of sharing a meal.
Absolutely.
It all seems to be interwoven,
Yeah.
pointing towards a deeper understanding of what it means to live a truly spiritual life.
It's a rich tapestry.
It is.
It really is.
It's a testament to, I think, the richness and depth of this tradition,
Absolutely.
Sri Chaitanya's legacy. It continues to inspire millions of people around the world,
Yeah.
offering like a path to liberation and a glimpse into this boundless love and joy that reside within us all.
And as we've seen, the texts often emphasize the importance of direct experience in spiritual life. So
Yeah.
I'm curious, what practices or teachings from this tradition resonate most with you? And how might you explore them further in your own life?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. What seeds have been planted in your mind through this deep dive?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It feels like we've just scratched the surface here.
We have.
There's a whole universe of wisdom waiting to be explored within these texts and the broader Bhakti tradition. So to our listener, keep exploring, keep questioning, and let your curiosity be your guide
Yes.
as you journey deeper into this fascinating world.
And remember, the most important journey is the one that leads us back to our own hearts,
Yeah.
to that place of love, joy, and connection with the divine that resides within each and every one of us.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this incredible deep dive.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep the flame of devotion burning brightly in